Warning. The program you're about to watch contains explicit language and descriptions of adult themes and graphic violence that people may find disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Armageddon Z, Part 4. Neo woke to the sound of movement downstairs. His heart pounded. He reached for his gun, gripping it tightly as he stepped out of bed. He moved toward Luther's room and tried the knob, locked. "Luther?" he called in a hushed voice. No answer. A crash echoed from below. Neo turned sharply. "Who's down there?" he shouted. A guttural snarl was the only response. A zombie appeared at the bottom of the stairs and charged up at full speed. Neo raised his gun and fired. One shot, two, three. The creature collapsed, tumbling back down. The gunfire jolted the rest of the group awake. Doors swung open, footsteps rushed into the hall. Within seconds, everyone was armed and alert. "I thought you locked all the doors," Anna said, scanning the hallway. "I did," Neo responded, his breathing heavy. They cautiously made their way downstairs, stepping around the corpse. The house was eerily silent. Then they saw it. The basement door was open. Neo shut it immediately. The group exchanged uneasy glances. "I think I know what happened," Neo finally said, keeping his voice steady. "I shot the zombie eating the corpse, but I didn't shoot the corpse." Lishnu's eyes narrowed. "Meaning?" It must have turned, climbed the stairs, opened the door. Silence. Then Luther scoffed. "Zombies don't know how to turn doorknobs." "That's what I was going to say," Lishnu muttered. Neo's jaw tightened. "Richard, back at the lab, he said something about testing, maybe evolution." Anna crossed her arms. "Evolution?" Neo nodded. "I think he made the virus smarter. Or maybe the infected are starting to remember things." A chill settled over the group. "So the door handle, the basement door." Luther trailed off. "Not an accident," Neo confirmed. Anna squared her shoulders. "Then we need to find Richard and put a stop to this." "No," Neo said, shaking his head. "Right now, we need to secure ourselves." Anna's expression hardened. "Neo, he's playing God with genetics. This isn't just about us." "Oh boy, here we go," Luther muttered, nudging Willow. "Come on, kid." The two of them left the room, leaving Lishnu behind to listen. Neo exhaled sharply. "I don't care about Richard. I care about keeping us alive. Humanity won't survive if we don't stop him," Anna countered. Neo gestured around them. "Look at the world, Anna. It's already dead. I'm trying to protect what's left." Anna shook her head. "To protect what's left, we have to save the world." Neo's temper flared. "Fine, go play hero. I'll take care of the people I love." "So, you're just gonna let me fight alone?" "I was never a hero, and I don't intend to be one." Anna's voice rose. "You're just a coward." She turned and stormed upstairs. Neo clenched his fists. "No, I'm a survivor," he shouts after Anna. Silence filled the space between them. Neo sighed and ran a hand through his hair. Lishnu studied him. "You know, you should apologize while it still matters," Neo scoffed. "I know, but my pride won't let me." Lishnu tilted her head. "Would you rather keep your pride and lose her, or lose your pride and keep her?" Neo shot her an annoyed look. "Shut up, you're making sense." He turned and followed Anna upstairs. She was sitting at the edge of the bed, her arms crossed, her glare cold as ice. Neo hesitated before speaking. "Maybe we should call off the wedding." Anna's expression didn't change. "Cold feet? Or are you just quitting on me?" Neo sighed. "I don't think I can be what you need. We just argued, and I don't even think you love me anymore." Anna's expression softened slightly. "Neo, just because we fight doesn't mean I don't love you. The day I stop arguing with you is the day I stop caring." Neo swallowed hard. "So I just have to deal with it?" Anna's voice softened. "When I'm hard to love, I need you to love me harder. I won't give up on you if you don't give up on me." Neo exhaled, the tension in his shoulders loosening. He swallowed his pride. "Okay, I'm sorry." Anna gave a small smile. "No, I'm sorry. I was pushing my principles onto you. I know this isn't your fight." Neo looked down. "I don't want you to think I'm a coward." Anna took his hands. Sometimes we say things we don't mean when we're angry. I love the coward in you. It's what kept us alive. Something in Neo shifted. He thought for a moment, then nodded. All right, let's find Richard and stop him. Anna smiled. This is why I love you. She kissed him, and he kissed her back. Hand in hand, they came downstairs. Luther smirked. Looks like you two made up. Don't be G, Neo shot back. Anna cleared her throat. We're going after Richard. Who's in? I'm in, Lishnu said without hesitation. Luther leaned back. Yeah, I think I'll sit this one out. Lishnu gave him a playful smirk. I like my man to be a hero. Fine, I'll go, he said quickly, changing his mind. They geared up and loaded into the car. As they drove toward the city, Lishnu spoke up. Where do we even start? Neo thought for a second. If I were a prick scientist, where would I be? If you were a prick scientist, you'd be in my, Luther stopped himself just in time. Anna shot him a glare. Luther, I was going to say apple. No, you were going to say asshole, Willow chimed in. Anna shouted. Willow, Neo chuckled under his breath. Anna shot him a look and gently smacked his arm. Shh, she warned. My guess is a lab, Anna said, refocusing. Maybe a school or a private facility. Something small, low profile. Lishnu nodded. Somewhere with little attention. Luther frowned. Or we could just look for a place crawling with armed mercenaries. That could be anywhere, Neo said. Then let's make them look for us, Neo suggested. Anna raised an eyebrow. How? Neo hesitated. I haven't thought that far ahead. Luther made a loud, dramatic losing sound. Lishnu, Willow, and Anna all turned to him. What? He lost. He's a loser. Before anyone could respond, a shadow passed overhead. A low rumble filled the air. A helicopter flew over them. Neo's grip on the steering wheel tightened. Well, Luther said, that solves our little problem. They look up. The helicopter, Anna says. Neo grips the wheel. I know. He spins the car around, tires screeching as he follows the aircraft through the ruined city. Smoke rises from burning cars. Shadows move in the alleys. It's landing on that school building, Anna points ahead. Neo floors it, weaving through debris until they're as close as they can get. He slams the brakes. We walk from here, Anna says, unbuckling. Neo turns to his daughter. Willow, stay close to me. They step out. The streets groan with movement. Zombies, drawn by the sound of the engine. Trouble incoming, Luther mutters. No time to sneak past. They raise their weapons. Gunfire tears through the silence. Bodies drop. More keep coming. Go, Neo shouts. They sprint toward the school, cutting down anything in their path. Anna reaches the door first and tugs. Locked. Neo scans the area. Fire exit. This way. They round the corner, but the undead are closing in. Neo spots a ladder halfway up the wall, its access hatch locked. There, he says, dragging a bench under it. He climbs up, aims, and fires. The lock shatters, and the gate swings open. Up! Now! Lishnu goes first, scrambling up the ladder and shoving the gate wide. She kicks down the rest of the ladder. Luther, Willow, and Anna climb up. Neo panics a bit as he watches a horde coming at them. Neo moves with speed. He climbs up, looking up at Anna's butt. The horde begins climbing the ladder as well. Anna looks down for a split second. Her eyes widen. They're climbing. Zombies claw their way up after them, their movements jerky but terrifyingly fast. Once they all reach the top, Lishnu fires, dropping a few. Neo kicks the gate down and jams it shut with his gun. The undead slam against the metal, shrieking. Move. It might not hold, Lishnu shouted. They find the fire exit. One shot takes care of the lock. They rush inside, sealing the door behind them. Breathing heavy, Anna pulls an extra gun from her back and hands it to Neo. He smirks. Nice butt, by the way. Anna glares. When we were climbing. You're insufferable, Anna jokes. Neo grins but says nothing. They move down the hallway, weapons ready. Contact. Anna shouts. Mercenaries. Guarding the science lab. Neo kicks open a classroom door and fires from cover. Anna yanks Willow inside another room and flips a desk. Stay low, she whispers, crouching behind it. Lishnu and Luther take position, exchanging fire with the guards. One by one, the mercenaries fall. Neo charges into the science lab. Inside, a man hunches over a microscope. He looks up, startled. Luther follows. Well, Richard. Richard straightens. Where are my men? Neo raises his gun. Dead. Richard exhales, but his hands remain steady. You're making a mistake. Neo steps closer. What the hell did you do to the zombies? Richard smirks. I improved them. Their brains remember motor skills, but their instincts remain primal. I'm learning how to control them. Luther snorts. You've got some balls trying to leash the zombies. Richard tilts his head. Don't you want the bee serum? Neo's brow furrows. What? The new formula. A cure for the evolved strain. Neo doesn't lower his gun. No, there's always a catch. Richard smiles. I'll give you 50 grand. If you let me live. Neo scoffs. The world's dead. Your money is worthless. What makes you think I value your life? Neo asked firmly. I'll throw in an extra gift. You can have one bee serum. It's yours. Richard offered, trying to sweeten the deal. Neo thinks for a moment. No, I'm not here to save the world. Neo's voice is ice. Don't mistake me for my wife. I only care about my circle. Richard cuts in. Not your wife yet. Thanks to you, Neo says. Richard lets out a small chuckle. Luther standing there watching their exchange. Luther nudges Neo. I'm in the circle, right? Neo doesn't answer, his focus still on Richard. Luther nudges him again. Hey man, am I Luther? Neo shouts in frustration. I'm about to kill someone. Ask me later. All right, Luther mutters, backing off. Richard exhales. In every apocalypse there's heroes like you. Neo's grip tightens. And in every apocalypse has bastards like you. Richard smirks. That's why you need me. Mr. Hero, Neo said calmly, I'm no hero. Boom. Neo pulls the trigger. Richard crumples, dead. Luther winces. Damn. The door swings open. Neo and Luther snap their heads toward the entrance. Anna, Lishnu, and Willow rush in, then freeze. Their eyes lock onto Richard's lifeless body. He's finally dead, Anna murmurs. Before they can react, mercenaries emerge from the shadows, seizing the three girls. A gun clicks into place behind Anna's head. Drop your weapon, the lead mercenary commands. Neo tightens his grip on his gun. No. Neo, drop it, Anna says, her voice steady. He hesitates. Are you sure? Trust me, Anna calmly says. Neo exhales sharply, then drops the gun, kicking it across the floor. The mercenary chuckles as he picks it up. A mercenary grabs Anna's arm. She shifts her body and tugs her arm away. The mercenary grabs her again, and she gives a smaller resistance. Then mercenary tightens his grip and tugs her away. This is going to be a fun night, Tachi. One of the men sneers as he walks away holding one of the girls. Tachi smirks. Let's move. The mercenaries drag the three girls away. Luther watches them disappear. Did we just lose them? Neo shakes his head. No, Anna told me to trust her. He spots something blinking on the ground. Subtle, almost unnoticeable. A small GPS tracker. She must have threw it down during her struggle to cover her movements. Anna, you're awesome, Neo said with a grin. She planted a tracker, Neo muttered. They rush outside, jumping into their car. The map screen flashes to life, a red dot moving across the city. Neo slams the gas. They're a few minutes behind. The signal leads them to an abandoned prison, surrounded by rusted fences and crumbling guard towers. A massive horde of zombies presses against the front gate, moaning and clawing at the steel barriers. Luther exhales sharply. And how exactly do you plan to get in? Inside the prison. The cold air inside the prison was thick with fear. Anna, Lishnu, and Willow were marched down a dimly lit corridor, their hands bound, their fates uncertain. The cells they passed were filled with women, far too many of them pregnant. Anna's stomach churned. The mercenaries shoved Anna and Lishnu into a cell and locked it behind them, but when they grabbed Willow, Anna lunged at the bars. No, Willow, she screamed. Take me instead. One of the soldiers sneered. The boss doesn't care for you. Mommy, Willow cried, reaching for her mother as they dragged her away. Anna's arms stretched desperately through the bars. Be strong, baby, she whispered. But inside the cell, she paced like a caged animal, fear and terror clawing at her chest. Minutes later, 4 guards returned. They pulled Anna and Lishnu out, separating them without a word. They led Anna down a hallway to a small, empty room. The only piece of furniture was a bed. One of the men smirked. This is where the magic happens. Anna's stomach twisted. She knew exactly what they intended to do. One man unbuckled his belt. 2 others grabbed her arms. But Anna refused to be a victim. She slammed her elbow into one guard's face, breaking free. Spinning around, she drove her knee into the second man's gut. The third lunged, but she ducked, yanking his half-lowered pants to his knees, throwing him off balance. He stumbled, and she delivered a brutal kick to his groin. The first man recovered, blood dripping from his nose. He lunged. Anna sidestepped and landed a powerful strike to his jaw. The second man tried to grab her. She kicked him back and followed up with a flurry of punches. She didn't stop until they stopped moving. Breathing heavily, she grabbed their weapons and a ring of keys. Anna sprinted through the corridors, finding Lishnu's cell. Inside, 2 men had her pinned. Bang! Bang! 2 shots rang out. The men collapsed. Anna rushed in, keys in hand. "Are you okay?" Lishnu, shaken but defiant, pulled her clothes back into place. "I am now." Anna tossed her a gun. "Free the others. I'm getting my daughter." The alarm blared. Footsteps thundered down the hall. A group of mercenaries rushed in, pinning them down. Then the whole building shook. "Back outside at the entrance. Watch this," Neo said to Luther. He hits the gas pedal and drives through the gates. A loud bang. The prison gates buckled as a car smashed through, unleashing a flood of zombies into the compound. Screams erupted. The mercenaries barely had time to react before the undead tore into them. Neo and Luther climbed out of the wreckage. Neo dodged a lunging zombie and sprinted into the building. Luther, meanwhile, found himself playing a deadly game of cat and mouse around the wrecked car. Inside, Anna and Lishnu seized the opportunity. As the zombies clashed with the mercenaries, they took advantage of the distraction and opened fire. Meanwhile, in a candlelit chamber, Tachi stood over Willow, preparing for something sickening. A soldier barged in. "Sir, we have a problem." Tachi scowled. "What part of 'do not disturb me' do you not understand? Neo is here, and the zombies have breached the building." Tachi sighed in annoyance. "Fine." He grabbed Willow and carried her outside, ignoring her small struggles. "I'm going to lead the zombies away." "Follow my lead, Luther," Neo said. He let out a sharp yell, waving his arms to grab the undead's attention. The horde shifted, their vacant eyes locking onto him. As soon as they started shambling in his direction, he bolted down the hall. Most of them followed, their guttural groans filling the air. Luther stayed hidden, pressing himself into the shadows. Once the bulk of the zombies had passed, he slipped after Neo, staying just a few steps behind. Neo burst into the lunchroom, skidding across the tile floor. Luther dashed in after him and slammed the door shut, twisting the lock into place. Neo didn't stop. He darted through the opposite exit, sealing that door behind him as well. The undead clawed and banged against the walls, trapped. Circling around, Neo hurried back to the prisoner cells. By the time he arrived, Anna and Lishnu had finished off the remaining zombies. "Anna," Neo called. Anna turned at the sound of his voice. Her breath hitched, and in an instant she was running toward him. "Oh my God, Neo!" she cried, relief washing over her face. She threw her arms around him. "You saved me, babe." "No problem, love," Neo murmured, holding her close. She peppered his face with quick kisses before pulling back. Her expression darkened. "Are you okay?" Neo asked, reading the shift in her eyes. "No, it was horrible," Anna whispered. "These men, they're the real monsters. Every woman here is a prisoner. Most of them are pregnant." Her voice shook. "They're doing something sick." Lishnu and Luther worked to free the captives, helping them stand, whispering reassurances. Neo's gaze swept over the terrified women. "They're trying to repopulate the world," he muttered grimly. Anna's eyes welled with anger. "They took Willow." Neo clenched his fists. "I'll get these women to safety," Anna said firmly. "You go after Willow." Neo gave a single nod, determination burning in his eyes. Without hesitation, he turned and sprinted into the darkness, ready to face whatever came. Neo sprinted through the corridors, his heart pounding. He could hear Willow's terrified screams echoing through the prison. He followed the sound, his pulse quickening with every step. Bursting into the open courtyard, his eyes locked onto the horrifying sight. Tachi stood on a fenced platform above a horde of ravenous zombie prisoners. Willow dangled over the edge, tied up, helpless. Tachi smirked. "Ah, watch your step." He loosened his grip, letting Willow drop a few inches. She whimpered in fear. Neo's fists clenched. "Let my daughter go." Tachi chuckled. "Your wife can handle herself, but your little girl, not so much. Let her go," Neo demanded. Then, without hesitation, Tachi released the rope. Willow screamed as she plummeted toward the horde. Neo lunged, vaulting over the bars and diving onto the platform. Tachi moved to intercept him, aiming a sweeping kick at his legs. But Neo leaped over the attack, his hand shooting out to grab the rope just before Willow hit the zombies below. Willow whimpered, her wide eyes filled with terror. Neo gritted his teeth and began pulling her up, wrapping the rope around his body for leverage. Tachi wasted no time. He launched a flurry of punches and kicks at Neo's back and ribs, each blow landing with force. but Neo didn't react. His only focus was saving his daughter. Frustrated, Tachi locked an arm around Neo's throat, tightening his grip. Neo gasped for air, his strength fading, but he refused to let go of the rope. His vision blurred. His muscles screamed. A gunshot rang out from behind. "Let him go!" Anna's voice cut through the chaos. She stood at the edge of the platform, gun trained on Tachi. Tachi hesitated before releasing his hold. Gasping for breath, Neo pulled Willow up the last few feet and quickly untied her. "Daddy!" She threw herself into his arms, sobbing. Neo coughed but held her tightly. "Go to your mom." Willow ran to Anna, who kept her gun steady on Tachi. "Come on, Neo, let's go," Anna urged. Neo steadied himself and shook his head. "No, I'm going to end this." Anna frowned. "Neo, Anna!" His voice shot back quickly. She exhaled, understanding in her eyes. "Come on, Willow," she said, leading their daughter away. Neo turned to Tachi, his expression cold. "I don't care what you've done here, but you messed with my family. That was your mistake." Tachi grinned, cracking his knuckles. "Come, Mr. Hero." Neo cringed at his words, squeezing his hand into a fist. Tachi strikes a fighting stance. Neo also goes into his stance. They circled each other, their bodies tense. Tachi threw quick jabs to test Neo's reflexes. Neo parried each one with precision. Tachi followed up with a powerful hook. Neo ducked under it, countering with a sharp strike to Tachi's ribs. Tachi spun with the impact, attempting a back fist. Neo matched his motion, twisting into a backspin kick that connected squarely with Tachi's face. Tachi stumbled but quickly regained his stance. With a roar, he rushed Neo, launching a relentless combo of punches and kicks. Neo blocked most, but some hits landed, forcing him back toward the edge of the platform. Tachi saw an opening and went for a finishing blow, trying to knock Neo off. Neo's foot slipped, but at the last moment, he countered, landing a solid knee to Tachi's head. As Tachi reeled back, Neo hooked his leg and swept him to his knees. A quick kick snapped Tachi's head back, followed by another brutal knee strike. Neo pressed forward with punches, finishing with a crushing elbow to Tachi's skull. Tachi swayed, dazed. Neo stepped in, delivering a powerful thrust kick. Tachi hit the ground hard, groaning. His head lolled toward the platform's edge. Below, the zombies clawed hungrily at the air. He struggled to his feet, but his ankle caught on the rope that had once held Willow. Tachi tried to move, but felt his foot was tangled. He looks down at his feet. In that split second, Neo saw the opportunity. He sidekicks Tachi off the platform. Neo steps on the rope, causing the rope to stop. The rope hung onto Tachi's foot. He dangles inches away from the horde below. Tachi's eyes widened. "Please help me, Mr. Hero," Tachi begged. Neo stared down at him, his expression unreadable. "I'm no hero," Neo said. He lifted his foot. The rope slipped free. Tachi let out a final, terrified scream as he plummeted into the horde. The zombies swarmed him instantly, their guttural growls drowning out his cries. Neo watched for a moment before turning away. Outside, Lishnu and the other female prisoners were boarding the bus, their escape finally in motion. Luther stood by the door, scanning the area. Anna and Willow ran toward him. "Where's Neo?" Luther asked. Anna hesitated. "He said to go without him." She led Willow onto the bus and climbed in. Luther waited a beat, glancing back at the prison. Then, just as he turned to get in, Luther starts moving the bus a few yards. Neo sprinted into view. Luther slammed the brakes, the sudden stop jerking everyone inside. "What happened?" Anna asked. Luther smirked. "Neo happened." He opened the door, and Neo climbed in, panting. "Leaving without me," Neo teased. "Your girl said to." Luther responded with sarcasm. Neo turned to Anna, who was standing now, arms crossed but smiling. She walked up to him, her eyes searching his. "What happened?" Neo exhaled. "Tachi is dead." A moment of silence. Then she smiled. Neo patted Willow's head. Willow smiles. Then Neo turns to face Anna. They leaned in for a kiss. The bus hit a bump, interrupting their moment. "Oops, my bad," Luther called from the driver's seat. Neo and Anna exchanged a look before laughing. Then they finally kissed. The scene shifted. Sunlight bathed the building as Neo and Anna stood before a small crowd. "I now pronounce you Mr. and Mrs., the officiant declared. Neo cuts in. "Wait," he looks at Anna. "Since you asked me to marry you, I'll take your name," Neo said. "Yeah?" Anna asked with joy in her expression. Neo nodded with a smile. "I now pronounce you Mr. and Mrs. Faith." Applause erupted as they walked down the aisle together, hand in hand, with Willow following close behind. At the steps of the waiting helicopter, Anna paused, tossing her bouquet behind her. Lishnu caught it, grinning as the crowd cheered. Luther and Lishnu catch eyes. Neo knelt beside Willow. "Stay with Uncle Luther, okay?" She nodded. "Okay," then runs off to Luther. Luther tucked her up into his arms as the helicopter blades whirred to life. Neo turned back to Anna. They shared one last look before stepping aboard. As the helicopter lifted off, the world below seemed hopeful. Anna's voice narrated the final moments.
The world is slowly coming back to normal. The women from the prison are helping to repopulate, their children a sign of new generation. The B serum has been distributed, turning the tide against the infection. And me? I'm finally being recognized for the hero I always dreamed of. She smiled, looking at Neo. Then again, even a hero needs their own hero. Neo turned, smirking at her. The end.